good to have you once again on Singles and Married with Christi. Now we've been talking about common mistakes singles make, and you can call this part 3. That means that if you have not seen part 1 and part 2, it is better you go find those videos and watch them. I assure you, when you do, you'll be able to now connect properly with this particular video. As they say, you are wrong if you have not subscribed to my channel. So please do subscribe, put on your notification, and anticipate even more videos. Mistakes singles make. Now we are going to say this is number 6. Using service in church to gauge spirituality and transformation. Now this is one mistake singles make a lot. You know, there's something about charisma in church. You see a lot of people, church is a place, I like the way some people put it. They say church is a hospital. It's like a hospital. That means there are all manner of people. Some people are there sick, some are there coming to see somebody, while some are there indeed loving God and being in service for Him. This means therefore that not everybody you see in church has really had contact with God. Not everybody you see in church is born again, because for some it's a process. You know, it takes time to be able to grow. It is as people keep coming, people have encounters, people get born again, and transformation takes place. However, there are quite a lot of people that you find in church in active service. You see people in the choir, in the drama department, in the prayer department, in ushering team, doing a lot of things, activity, so much activity, yes, no encounter with Christ. Whilst for some, yes, they might be born again, but they have not allowed the Holy Spirit to work on them. Therefore, transformation has not taken place. They are born again, but without character. Very rude, very arrogant, very unassuming people. You just see them behaving in a manner that sometimes you wonder, are these ones Christians? So if you see someone in church being so active, so much charisma in church, and you use that to gauge spirituality, you will be in for a rude shock. Let me tell you something. There's this person I mentioned in the last video that I said I almost got married to. Guess what? That person is a minister of the gospel. But there's something interesting about that person. He had so much charisma, but indeed he didn't fear God. That's the truth. He had no fear for God, and he could do things that are not to be mentioned, that should not even be mentioned amongst believers. Now, assuming I had taken his charisma for it, I would have gotten married to him. And I remember when I was in school in the university, I heard a story about a young man that truly loved God, and he wanted a woman that was on fire for God. Well, guess what? He married someone he thought was on fire for God, because when she appeared in church, she was praying and almost bringing the roof down, until he got married to her and he realized he had made a big mistake. The marriage suffered so much. Well, as at now, I don't know if they are still together or not, because it was a story that was shared by someone that knows them. So you see that character is different, you know, from charisma. Spirituality should not, or should I say, service in church, service for God should not in any way be mistaken for spirituality or for character. The person might not have even developed character at all. Now, the next thing I want to say is not defining your relationships. That's the number 7. You know one thing, singles end up with a lot of friendships. I see a lot of singles, with somebody, they are so close, they are talking, they go everywhere together, and one of them is feeling already in a relationship, feeling in love already, not knowing that they are just in a relationship with themselves. The other person doesn't have any feelings at all in that direction, no romantic feelings like that. Now, when we have this kind of situation, it poses a problem. At the end of the day, you see that the other person that doesn't have the same kind of feeling, or when the feeling is not mutual, someone else comes and then that one goes away. Maybe whether the man, he talks to another woman, or the young woman, she says yes to another man, and then the other person ends up hurting. Now, this is what happens when your relationship is not defined. You need to define what you're doing. If a man comes around you and is hanging around you too much as a young woman, please do not hesitate to ask him, Oga, what are you doing around me? How far? I want to know, because I don't want you to be around me too much and block other suitors from coming. Because if he's around you too much and other people are beginning to desire to come to you, they might think that, okay, that man is already in your life, and then it will keep them away. And so they are afraid to come to you because they think you're already in a serious relationship while you are not. And then the same thing with the man. If a young woman that is liking you, probably even praying and thinking that, oh, this man, I like him, and then she sees another young woman always around you, she might just relax and say yes to somebody else because she thinks that you are in a relationship with someone else. Now, I want to plead with young people. Do not just hang around young men and women. This is a better way to do it. It is better to hang together in groups. If you need to hang around the opposite sex, better hang around in groups where you do not have any particular person that is always around you. Now, it is from that point that if any feeling begins to develop, you begin to make decisions on how to set yourself apart for a relationship. I do not want you getting hurt, because I've dealt with some issues that have to do with singles recently, where one person is feeling like, oh, I want to be your friend, and the other person is saying, I want more, because they've been hanging around together. So always define your relationship from the start. Another common mistake singles make, we have to move because of time, is ignoring or closing your eyes to red flags. Now, I have a whole topic that says danger signals or red flags to watch out for in a relationship. But let me say this now. There are moments where young people see danger signs, they see red flags, and sometimes even when they do not see it, people around them, you know what the normal statement that you people say, that love is blind. Let me tell you, if you are a single person, let your love have eyes. Let it see now very well. Because if your love is blind, you will fall into a ditch before you know it. So you need to open your eyes. You need to shine your eyes very well so that you can see very well, clearly. And please open your heart to receive counsel, to receive advice. People could see red signals, could see danger signs and give you warning. But I see young people ignoring them. Remember one of the points I made in my other recording where I said that people stay because they think they can change the person. So when they see those danger signs, they ignore them. For example, danger signs like somebody shouting on you. I said I have a whole topic on that, so I'll just mention a few. Like someone shouting on you, or someone hitting you, or someone being very, very, very rude to people, or stingy, for instance. These are signs that you need to look out for. And in fact, if you need to put a break. Even if you have set your wedding date and you observe some serious danger signals, you need to maybe put a hold on your wedding, go through some process of counseling, and be sure that is where you want to be. You want to end up with that kind of person. You are sure you make the decision with your clear eye. So please do not ignore danger signals. Another point I want to make that constitutes a mistake that singles make is not seeking or submitting to counseling. Now, you know one thing about life, everybody needs counseling. At one point or the other in our lives, we need someone to talk with. Now, let me say, in this part of the world, from where I'm speaking from, we are just opening ourselves now more to counseling. But let me tell you that counseling does a lot. You can find out couples that went through counseling before they got married. You'll discover that they are doing better in their marriages because they learned a lot. But when you go through, just enter into marriage without prior knowledge about marriage, problem is awaiting you already. Now, I want to commend some couples that, like on Saturday, a few days ago, I had a counseling session, with a couple that are preparing towards marriage. And I assure you that this couple have taken a wise decision. Now, for singles, it is important that you submit yourself to counseling, submit yourself to mentorship. People that have gone ahead of you, learn from their mistakes, learn from the things they are doing right, and make sure that you avoid their mistakes, and if possible, copy the good things, the right things they are doing that is helping them succeed in their marriage. Now, I want to say that it is always good to submit to professional counseling, because counseling itself is a skill, and it's an art that is learned and done properly. So not everybody will be your counselor. Not everybody can counsel you. You need to choose who you submit to. So please, I want to encourage you as a single, do not just enter into a relationship. Ensure that you submit to mentorship and submit yourself to counseling. Very, very important. Another point that is closely related to this one, and I think this is where we'll draw the curtain today, is even when young people submit to counseling, they are not ready to do what they have learned from counseling sessions. For example, I have had opportunity to talk to singles on, okay, after looking at issues, you've been with a man several years, you've been with this lady, this is how she's behaving, and I tell you, okay, these are danger signals, this is what I think you should do. I think you should hold on a bit, I think you should withdraw a bit, I think you should give it time a bit and do this and that. You discover that they go, and because they already had a mindset, when they say something is set, the mind is already set on something. So even though you've seen the red signals and you're telling them, they choose to do what they want to do instead. Like, they want you to tell them what will suit or agree with the decisions they've made already. And let me tell you the truth. When you choose to come for counseling, sometimes you might have to withdraw and reassess your decisions and reassess whether that relationship you are in is actually worth the price you want to pay for it, or if that person is worth entering into marriage with. So you discover that when we tell young people, be careful, do this, do that, sometimes they run away from you. I have had some situations like that. But on the other hand, for people that have come for counseling and I have counseled them and they go, of course, normally it is your decision to make. Even the counselor doesn't make your decision for you. The counselor will only guide you, show you the pros and the cons for every situation. Then at the end of it, you go and prayerfully make your decision and make your choice on what to do. Now, when you now do that, you are able to do what? To now find yourself in a place where you can be able to choose. Now, you are put in that position of choosing and making your choice, because at the end of the day, whatever decision you make, you live with it. And let me tell you one thing. God has given us the power of choice. However, the consequences that come with our choices, we do not have control over them. Your choices determine the consequences automatically. So if your counselor advises you that, okay, you've been with this man for 8 years and I think he's doing well, he's working, everything is okay, and he's still not getting married to you, for example, as a lady, and they say, okay, you need to talk to the man, you need to pull out of the relationship, you need to ask the person, are you ready or should I move on? They go and they do something stupid instead. Now, if your counselor tells you something like that, it is your decision to go to prayerfully consider and know the step to take. Unfortunately, we have come Time is fast against us, and I have to call it a wrap today. Please, singles, I want to beg you, submit yourself to counseling. It does a whole lot of good for you. It does a whole lot of good for you. So, thank you once again for staying through to the end. And I want to tell you, do not miss the next video. I assure you something exciting is coming. You don't want to miss it. You don't want to be told. That means I'm encouraging you to put on your notification and be ready so that when that video drops, you are the first to watch it. Alright, thank you for staying. God bless you, and do enjoy the rest of your